Principle number 6, leaders leverage best through teamwork. This is the third realm of leadership. We've talked about spiritual leadership. We've talked about relational leadership. Now we're going to talk about missional leadership. How do you take your leadership out? And we're going to talk about teamwork and team building and coaching. Every leader needs a team. Every team needs a leader. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 4, 9 through 12. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. For if one of them falls, the other will lift up his companion. But woe to the one who falls when there is not another to lift him up. Furthermore, if 2 lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? And if one can overpower him who is alone, 2 can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly torn apart. That's the biblical foundation, the biblical framework for teamwork. And teamwork is vital for a leader, because a leader is limited in his skills, in his resources, in his experiences. But with a team around him, they can accomplish great and mighty things. They can literally go to the ends of the world. So we're going to talk about teamwork. Teamwork really is there's an acronym for team. And that is, first of all, it starts with the T. Trusted leaders and talented people. It starts with people at a strategy level. We have to get trusted leaders and talented people together. Get the right people on the bus, so to speak. And as we gather those people together, and as they're connected to the Lord, connected to what God wants to do, then the vision begins to be realized. And that's the E. Engaging vision and an executable plan. That the leaders hear from the Lord, and yet then they craft this vision that they hear, but then they put a plan to that. And they put who are the roles and responsibilities and who's going to do what when. And from there, we go to the A. Acquiring resources and accepted processes. This is,
So
yeah.
the next one is the A. Because
Yeah,
we're going to show
right.
all kind of way.
Yep. The next one is the A. Accepted processes and acquiring resources. This is putting the plan into execution. But you have to have the right systems and processes and operations in order to be effective, in order to leverage and have structure. But you have to have the resources. And that could be money, it could be technology, it could be people. But that's where, as a team, you begin to gather those things together. And then you engage the people. Meaningful relationships and measurable results. They're the ones that are going to actually go and do the work. So we look at this idea of teamwork. It's leadership, it's vision, it's operation and process, and it's people as a team, working as a team. Those are the elements of teamwork. Let me give you a practical application of that. I was working for a large ministry, and we had a project that we wanted to put together a discipleship tool and take it literally around the world, because we had ministry in some 75 countries. But it started with this vision, and we started with a team of people. So we gathered 8 people from around the country. We got together on several different occasions. We both prayed, but we also shared ideas and thoughts and what's the Lord telling us to do. And so we knitted our hearts together, and we began to listen to what God had for us. And then as He revealed that, we began to lay out the vision and the plan of how we're going to implement that. But that involved bringing more people in. And so then we had a group of about 20 to 25 people engaged in the project, giving input, writing different things, bringing resources and consultants in. And then we took the project and we finalized it, but then we took it out to about 100 leaders around the world to train them and to teach them of how to use it. And now it's gone to literally tens of thousands of people across the world. No one person could do that on their own. Teamwork. It's bringing people together. It's hearing from the Lord, having a vision, putting the systems and processes together, and then empowering people to go. That's what teamwork, that's the essence of teamwork. But once we have teamwork, now how do you build the team? Building the team, and there's two aspects to it. It's relationship and empowerment. We need to have good relationships. We need to be able to have clarity of who's doing what, when, roles, responsibilities, and working that through. And in that, we ask 4 questions in the team building phase. First of all is the who. And who is going to do, the who of what you're doing. And then it's the why and the what. Why you're doing it, what are you doing, both at a top level as well as at an individual level. And then how. How are you going to go about doing it? Get other people's input, get other ideas, and then how can you engage more people in that process? But relationships, it's building relationships surrounding asking these questions and then gathering people together. But as a leader, you have to empower people. You have to let them, once there's a plan and a mission and a clear roles and responsibilities, you need to let people go and do it. You need to hold them accountable, you need to have good communication, and how is it going? But when they feel empowered, people will do much more than they would if they're just being told what to do. An example of that, I've just finished a project with a friend of mine in India, Richard. And this was Richard's vision. He was working with literally hundreds of thousands of people in India to help them in the area of stewardship and finances. Because India has lots of poverty, lots of difficulty. And if we could help teach them to handle money better, right and well, they could be then released and to have a much more quality of life. So we took Richard's vision, he and I met about it, we prayed about it, we talked about it, and then we gathered his team of 5 people, of his key leaders. And we put tools and training and a book and a study together, and we collaborated on that from India to the US. And then last September I went to India, and we trained 125 pastors in 5 different cities, who will now take it to literally 1,000 churches, and over the next 3 years, 100,000 people. Teamwork based on relationships and empowerment. And the third aspect of building a team is really the idea of coaching. We talked about that in the last session, but let me give you how to apply coaching. There is a simple model that's been well known. It's called the GROW model. As when you come alongside somebody to help coach them, you help them go through this GROW model. The goals, reality, opportunities, options, and obstacles, and then what are you going to go do? It gives you 4 sets of questions, and then you hold them accountable. But that GROW model helps empower people, helps them think through, where am I going? Where am I now? What are the issues? What are the challenges? What are the alternatives? And then what am I going to go do? Set an action plan. But teamwork leverages the effectiveness of leadership. So let me summarize that from our book here. Leaders leverage best through teamwork. Working together can accomplish God's goals that are far beyond our individual strength and capacity. In our next session, we'll talk about the kingdom and eternity.